Good morning, Peter.
Morning.
How are you?
Good.
Yeah, thank you for having us at your home. It's really a privilege to know you all these years, and particularly this week, when you launch and publish a book, Not by Sight. So when I found that you did this, I said it's wonderful. I need to spend some time to understand, why you wrote this book and what's inside. Yeah, would you share a bit about Not by Sight?
Yeah, sure. I've been a principal for 24 years. My most recent school was Queensway Secondary School, and prior to that, I was at ACS Junior and ACS Park Road. So worked 24 years with parents and their children, and of course with the teachers, and I've seen the challenges that all these groups of people face. And I wrote this book with the intent that my life experiences can be an inspiration and as well as encouragement to those who face challenges in life, because I face many challenges myself. I'm visually I'm actually blind. Okay, more recently got much worse, but it's one of those things in life that I've had to go through. So the bulk of my principalship was actually with very limited eyesight, and I managed it. So I think all of us will face challenges, whether with ourselves, with our family, our children, but it's the perspective we choose to take in life that will help us to get through it.
Yeah, Peter, there's a real encouragement, when you share about your weakness. I think many of us can identify with that, and it strengthens us as well. I mean, there's so many parents and children with disabilities, learning disorders, so thank you. Can I just ask you one more question in this book? What are some important takeaways that you would like to communicate here?
I would say the role of the father. In my book, you read the role of my father, who was an absent father. But I was very grateful that actually on his dying bed, just a minute or so before he passed on, afterward, we had very little interaction. He actually held my hands and said, "Son, I'm very proud of you. I know all you have been doing all these years, and I read in the papers, I hear from people."
It's so touching.
Yeah, and that actually healed a lot of wounds. So I've shared with many fathers, and I told all the fathers, don't wait till you're on your dying bed to tell your son or child or daughter that you are proud of them. Tell them that you're proud of them every day, okay, if you can. But don't wait till you're dying.
So seize the day, seize the moment.
Yeah.
Tell them that you love them. Yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Since we're talking about fathers, Peter, would you be able to share a little bit about your fathering journey? I mean, you mentioned a little bit, but what are the challenges that men face today? I mean, it's tough to be a man. There's no book on fathering, There's no manual, like a driving car manual, So what are the challenges you see men face today, especially in a very high pressure environment like here?
I think fathers in particular, I think I rather zero in on this group,
Yes.
because we have a responsibility, and some of us don't see that role because we don't have good role models. So That's for Life was started as a movement some 10 odd years ago,
Yes.
to try to promote the role of fathering, and that once you're a dad for life. So I was privileged to be involved in this move to promote the growth of fathering, and it's grown, which has been a very good thing. And I'm heartened to see many fathers coming in. It can definitely be better, all right, because a lot of times fathers still feel the pressure that they have to bring home the bacon.
Yes.
They don't prioritize time with their children. But over the last 10 odd years, and my own observation is, you see a lot more fathers coming for father-child activities in schools. You see fathers making effort to participate in activities and events, or even bringing their own children out. So I think there's a lot of hope for us.
Yeah. So I have a confession, Peter. I was one of those absent fathers. You say in Hong Kong, fathers spend 4 minutes every day, right? Come back from work. I spend only 2 minutes. When I come back home, after a corporate job, I'm so tired, I just say, how kids, how's the day? It's good. Then I go up to my room and I sleep, or watch TV, So I'm trying to redeem the time and all that. And it's been really good. So fathering, I think, it's really a great, great honor, responsibility, but the joy of fathering and to see your kids grown up. Right. Let me ask you a few questions about, for children with special needs. Many times fathers and mothers react differently. A diagnosis like autism can be very heartbreaking. And many go through a denial for more than a year, could be 2 years, 3 years before they can accept the diagnosis. How do you think fathers and mothers, can cope, especially fathers, to support the whole family through this journey?
Well, I think the unfortunate thing is genetics studies seem to point to the fathers being usually the carrier of the gene, that is linked.
Yeah, 3 out of 4 are boys, right, for autism.
So I guess to a certain extent, sometimes fathers feel guilty, that they are the ones who have imposed this on their child. Okay, but I mean, in reality, you can guess or think about whether you are the one or not, but what's the point in trying to figure out something that you cannot figure out, right? But really to make a decision to do something that will benefit your child. So I share an experience of 2 fathers.
Yeah, can you share some success stories?
When even before all this support in schools and all that, when I was a principal at ACS Junior, these 2 fathers who are ACS old boys came to me and said, our sons will come into the school. However, they are both autistic. And we don't want our sons to be a burden to your teachers.
Wow.
It was really generous of them. I mean, in those days, primary 1 classes was 40, sometimes even 41.
Yeah, and there was no support, right? The government systems were not there, right?
The system
very limited.
Was very limited at the time. So I mean, thankfully things have improved a lot today. So I agreed to considering this, and they introduced the person whom they had working with their sons. I spoke with her a fair bit and felt okay, she could be a good contributor to the school, but the bigger challenge was getting my teachers to believe that this was a good thing, right? I mean, I think if you interact with most teachers, they're always fearful to have another adult in their room, and then worse still, this adult is paid by the parents. What if they go home and tell parents things? And so there
videos and all the MOE will come.
there were all these fears and concerns. So I had quite a number of engagements with my teachers and to help them understand that actually this can be something that is beneficial. All right. So I was very glad that my teachers agreed to it. So we started the 2 primary 1 classes with this person going in. But I must really say that she's really professional. When one of the things she told me during the interview is, Mr. Tan, I'm here to work myself out of a job because I don't intend to follow these 2 boys all the time.
Too much.
All right. No, it's not too. And I think that's very commendable because I think a lot of
you want the child to recover, right, and get back to mainstream without support, right? But that's the objective of intervention and therapy, right?
And she actually did that. By the end of term 1, okay, the 2 kids were actually functioning fairly well in the class without her regular presence there. And
so you fade off slowly, right?
And then she'll come in and check in on the kids with the teachers, at the beginning of each term, and then she'll fade off again. So it really helped these 2 boys, and I think the other benefit that I also shared with MOE as well as my colleagues in schools is the students learn to, the other students learn to be empathetic.
Wow.
Right? They don't look at a kid with special needs and say something's wrong with you.
Yeah.
Right? And they don't ostracize them. In fact, many of them were very helpful.
So this is a transformation mindset, right, from parents, right? I don't want my kids to play with special needs children, right? So they have changed children, let's embrace them. Let's care for them. And the children become more mature, they become like buddies, and mentors to them, right?
I mean, that's why, in my time in ACS, I was always advocating for that opportunity where children with autism, special needs, I mean, special needs in terms of ADHD and all, they are in our school classrooms and all, but autism needs a bit more handling because the range is very wide, and I always felt that it'll be better if they are within the school than outside of the school. In fact, I experimented with that when I was in junior
What
school.
do you do?
I had an educational psychologist who runs a program for autistic students, and the basic structure he uses ABC, antecedents, behavior, consequence.
Yes.
Right. So and he would have make use of one of the spare classrooms I have. All right, and then have about 5 autistic children in the class, and so these boys mostly come in the same time as my students did, and they would start off in the class, but over the course of the first term, even actually, I would observe that they start to feel more comfortable, come out and play during recess time, go to the canteen to buy their own food, and even at some point of time later, some of them will come out and be part of the dismissal time.
Yeah.
So you allow these children to feel that they are like everybody.
Just provide the environment, the support, make it conducive.
That's right.
The kids and the parents are all accepting.
So it worked well for them. I mean, and for my teachers, they also had the benefit of this trained special needs teachers. And sometimes they observe a child who may be different, and we had an understanding that when this happens, that teachers will go in and observe and give feedback.
And I really hope, because therapy is so important, right? It's so expensive, right? If the child, the home environment, the community can just accept these kids, organize social skills, fun sessions, play sessions together, and then the child will slowly improve, right? Of course, it can be directed and supported, right? But that's really inclusivity, right?
Well, I think we need to move towards an inclusive mindset.
Okay. Can I ask you something about more severe kids, with like autism, those who cannot go to mainstream schools? Parents really struggle with that in 2 areas. One is that it's just so painful to see the child. After the period of early intervention, 2 to 7 years old, and then the child is still not talking. You got to go to special schools. You can't go to mainstream school, and then the child is still not talking. They can't socialize. They got behavior problems. Although with intervention it helps, right? So the parents' journey is really tough. How do you help fathers to cope with this? And sometimes that the recovery is either very slow or may not even happen, right? Kids who are non-verbal will never talk. It's more difficult after 7, 8 years old, What's your message to parents, about acceptance and, finding that peace,
I think one thing is acceptance by the community. And there's been a lot of advocacy in that direction, which is very good, right? Actually, a number of years ago, when I was in ACS Park Road together with the principal of ACS, independent, Winston Hodge, we made a proposal to convert part of the hostel that we have in Oldham Hall, to start a special needs school, and then also to have arrangements within the hostel where the autistic child learns home living. Okay, so they learn how to make the bed.
To be independent.
To be more independent. And the other element that we were thinking that we should be looking at is the possibility of creating a place where the parents could say, can I check my child in for 2 days?
Respite.
Respite.
Can you sometimes
Yes.
rest?
Because I mean, this I credit my former chairman. He's the current chairman of the ACS Board of Governors, but he was formerly my chairman then when I was in ACS. And he felt very much for this because we read in the newspapers parents who just cannot cope, and some of them, they throw their child
So
off.
the community needs to come and support them, right?
Yeah.
Say, I'm free this weekend. Why don't you go for a staycation or go for holiday?
But
I'll take over your child, right?
That would be wonderful, but I don't think many people. So our idea was if we could have a
Let's advocate for this, right? That more families will open up, right? We got spare room in the house, right? Or just go camping, right? Go to Changi, go to Pulau Ubin.
I think part of what one of the things after Dads for Life was started.
Yeah, tell us about Dads for Life. There's a new group called Special Dads for Life, right?
Yes, yeah. So after some time, and because I've been engaging with quite a lot of people like yourself, and those with children with learning challenges, autism, ADHD, and the like, and hearing their stories, I felt, actually there's a group of fathers who really need the support, and they are not getting the support. So
and they are isolated, they are alone, right? They don't know where to go, right?
So
sometimes
we started this.
And sometimes fathers cannot cry, right?
Yeah. Well, they think they cannot lah.
If they cry,
in silence.
Yeah, but if only they can come together, talk about it, and shed a tear, right? They say, "Yeah, I'm with you, right? You're not alone, right?"
So with Special Dads for Life, some programs have been organized. In fact, one of the purple parades we participated as a whole group. And just to let fathers come together and interact with each other, and then learn certain skills. Even husband-wife relationship skills would be helpful. But to also in a sense feel that, hey, I'm not alone. A lot of times they feel alone.
And the incidents of marriage breakups, divorces, and even the recent suicide incidents of fathers and all that is higher, right? For special needs, because it's just so tough, right? And I think for this reason, if men can come together, encourage each other, and say that, whatever you have, I also have.
And what you said earlier, if fathers with children who are not special needs will say, hey, I want to help my child learn to be compassionate. Then when Special Dads for Life organize something, hey, I'll bring my children along, right? And they can learn. I mean, just like the ACS junior boys, they learn to function with their classmates with autism.
Let's send this message to Center for Fathering, right? And host Special Dads for Life, right? To have an integration of special dads and neurotypical dads, right? Let's have some picnics, lunches, outdoor, fun, right? That'll be wonderful.
But I mean, we can message it as much as we want. But fathers must say, hey, I want to make this happen. I want to come out, like you say, if a neighbor who knows that the child has, the family has an autistic child, tell the parents, if you need me to, we can take your child for a few hours. It actually takes us to, those of us with normal children, or even those of us who don't have children, to say, I had a good friend who lived in a condo in Margaret Drive, and the neighbor is an autistic child, and went over to tell them, he and his wife told the couple, our doors always open. Your daughter's free to walk in, and if you need us to look after her for a couple of hours, just let us know. We can always make the time. So we need more people to. In Singapore, Koreans generally very paiseh, very cakey.
But
they won't ask.
But people want to give, right? Because they don't know where to give, right?
So I think we need to encourage Singaporeans, be courageous, step up, and say, what can I do?
Peter, this is wonderful. Can I just ask you one last question? If you have one or two key message for fathers with special needs children, what would you tell them?
Firstly, I would say don't blame yourself. Right? I think a lot of fathers, we all feel guilty. Like you felt guilty about we all feel guilty. I'm blessed with my two children. We have good, wonderful relationship. But sometimes I also feel guilty, and I think that's to a certain extent maybe the weakness of men. And I think those with special needs children, autism, and intellectual disability, they probably feel it even more. So really, if we can encourage them, and fellow fathers come around them. So don't feel guilty.
And they need to have hope, right?
Easy to say don't,
support,
but we need to help them and support them. And the other thing is look for help. I think men, we tend not to want to ask for help. We tend to think we can do it ourselves. Asking for help is a sign of weakness.
And the mother's job is to go and find the therapy and the help, right? Fathers are just bringing the salary, right, to support.
Unfortunately, so that mindset has to shift. I mean, for me, especially with my loss of sight, I really had to ask for help, because sometimes, I mean, when in the earlier years when things weren't so bad, but still, if I go to the bus stop, I don't know what bus is coming. And there were times I just walk up to the bus, do you go to Newton? And then the guy says no, then I come down. And then I go to the next bus, and do you go to Newton? No, I come down. So there were people who were at the bus stop observing me and said, can we help? And I said, I just need and I once had this lady, I was going to take a bus, and she told me what number to take. Then her bus came, and then she said, it's okay. Wow. I'll take the next bus. Wow. And she waited for my bus to come.
So kind.
So I think we also have to ask for help. And fathers with children with special needs or whatever challenges, let's all ask for help. I think people and Singaporeans are generous enough, and they will come around to support. So we just need to ask.
Thank you, Peter. Let me just put in a word for Special Dads for Life. As you know, Peter, myself, we started this, and we've got about 280 members, Facebook members. So if you look at Special Dads for Life on Facebook, you see the group. You can just like it, and you'll be kept abreast with activities, for fathers, but mothers can also join, right? That's really wonderful. And for 2024, we're going to ramp up a lot more activities, gatherings, and lunches, and just kopi, teh tarik sessions for fathers to come together. There's tremendous value just to open up, just to know that somebody is with you along the journey. Peter, thank you. So once again, Peter's book, Not by Sight, he gave his life, and not just his life, but I think he blazed a trail for education in Singapore. Thank you, Peter.
Sorry,
Okay. Okay, thank you.